Goldylocks Productions broadcasts universal cosmic frequencies that unlock, awaken, and expand the consciousness of our worldwide viewers and listeners.
Goldylocks Productions presents the Live from Little Bear Sanctuary show with Christopher Vane. Enjoy topics such as the vegan lifestyle, sanctuary media highlights, and spotlighting new rescues.
Happy Friday, friends. Welcome to Live from Little Bear Sanctuary. I'm your host, Chris Vane. And we are broadcasting live on the Goldylocks Production YouTube channel and the Little Bear Sanctuary Facebook page. If you're watching us live today on this Friday, August 13th, 2021, don't forget to sign in, say hello, let us know where you're tuning in from. And of course, all of our shows are on demand. If you missed anything or if you are not watching live, we're on demand on the Goldylocks Productions YouTube channel and the Little Bear Sanctuary Facebook page, website, and YouTube channel. We have a great show today. Not only do I have one guest, but I've got most of the Goat Games 2021 Sanctuaries with us today. Let's get right to the show. My first guest is a vegan mom and high school guidance counselor. She just wrote her first children's book, Vegan Family. It's available on Amazon. And I just happen to have a copy right here. Vegan Family, welcome to the studio, Randy.
Hi, thank you. I'm excited to be here.
I'm happy. I'm happy you made it. So so we met on TikTok of all places, right?
We sure did.
And so thank you for sending me a copy of this book. Thank you for being here. I know that there's a lot of controversy sometimes over vegan kids, which is so ridiculous. I wonder if you could, right? Let's talk a little bit about that. I'm sure you've dealt with it many times.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my son is 2 now, and he's been vegan since birth. And it's definitely something, I think that people actually question it a lot more when you're pregnant or before you have a child than when you actually have a child. I think, people are better at keeping their opinions to themselves when there's a real live small person in front of them. But there is like a lot of misinformation about nutrition and a lot of assumptions that perhaps if I'm raising my child vegan, I'm not doing research, that I don't have Google at my fingertips also. To figure out how to make sure that my son is getting everything that he needs. Yeah.
Protein, right? It's always the protein question.
And, I don't know the specifics. I don't know them by heart, but the amount of protein a toddler needs is like nothing. Like it's not a lot
at all. Yeah. I mean, it's the same for adults. People think that it's all about the protein, and actually we don't really need that much on a daily basis. So I usually ask people, well, how much protein do you need? And then they're like,
right, I don't know, a lot. I need a lot. I need a lot in every meal. Yeah. But there's also so much protein in things that like in vegetables and in plant-based milks.
Yep.
And certain plant-based milks, not all of them. Some of them are just delicious.
Yeah, true.
But we feel like really excited every time we go to a well visit and the doctor's telling us, his iron level is perfect. He's in the 95th percentile for height. Like all the things that, I'm warned, you're going to have a vegan baby. They're going to be little. They're going to have iron deficiencies.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. Tell me about the book. What brought you to write this book? I love the illustrations, by the way. They're really cool.
Thank you. Yeah, my partner, Abby, my illustrator, she's amazing. I'm so glad that she and I found each other to work on this project. For me, I've always been a writer. I've always been an entrepreneur. And I always imagined I would write a book. I don't know if it necessarily was a children's book. I probably have about like half of a memoir written from my 20s somewhere. And when my son was born, I started buying all the vegan children's books, and there are many, and there are many that are delightful. But I didn't feel that as a vegan parent, someone who's been vegan for a long time, raising a vegan child from birth, there were really books that connected to our journey. I felt like a lot of them really were towards people that were going vegan or wanted to teach kindness to animals.
Yep.
And they didn't necessarily speak to the journey of a child who grows up not really understanding that what they eat is different until they go to school or go to parties or become exposed to people outside of their nuclear family. And especially as a pandemic baby, you know, my child does not have much exposure in non-vegan restaurants, at parties, outside of like our close-knit family. And so he's going to have a rude awakening when he shows up at pre-K and can't share snacks.
Yeah. Gosh, you know, I have a friend who is raising 2 vegan kids, and one is just going to first grade now, first time, you know, and she's a little worried. You know, what's the other kid's going to say? Here, have some of my candy, or, you know, what can you make? It is what it is, right?
Right.
All you can do is teach them, and you know what I love about this book? Not only do you cover like the physical aspects of veganism, but also the emotional and the psychological aspects. And I think you did it really in a great way, showing little snippets of, you know, animals in cages and what it's going to be like emotionally when you're out there, you know. And I don't think there's a lot of kids' books that do that.
Right. And that's, you know, it's funny because, well, you know, when we wrote it, or when I wrote it, and, you know, Abby started illustrating it to go with my ideas, sort of the purpose of it almost developed as it was happening. Right. Like, I'm not sure what kind of vegan children's book I set out to write, but as we illustrated it, you know, we really realized like these are the things that come up in vegan homes for vegan parents and vegan young people that are hard. They're hard to address. They're hard to know what to say. And maybe putting them out there to my 2-year-old now that is easier than letting him be shocked when he's 7 or 8.
Yeah. I just, like I said, I can't imagine. It's got to be rough. All the family vegan?
I mean, myself, my husband, and my son. The 3 of us are vegan.
3 of us, yeah. I hear you have 6 cats.
We do. We have 6 cats. They are not vegan.
They're not vegan, no. I was hoping you'd be surrounded by all the kitties today.
You know, it's funny. I'm in my studio. I'm also a jewelry maker, and so they know they're not really allowed in here.
Probably a smart thing. Tell me about your journey to veganism. How did that all start?
You know, I think that there are some people that are just like innately like not animal eaters. And I obviously can't really relate or retell like the story of my journey to vegetarianism, but I've been a vegetarian since birth. My parents are not vegetarians. My parents were hippies. And they just didn't make me eat what I didn't want to eat. And I never ate meat. My mom said she would feed me meatballs and I would spit them in her face. Like it was not, it was not part of it just wasn't part of my self, like my actual self.
That's funny. Growing up, I was a big cheese head. All I wanted to do was eat cheese. I never liked meat. And when I found out what veal was at like 8 years old, I was like,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's horrifying.
Yeah.
So yeah, I grew up on American cheese sandwiches.
Yeah.
And as I got older, I guess, we're indoctrinated to believe that milk is good for us and that cows are happy and that this is normal. And obviously, as I got older and I became a woman and I started to explore being a feminist, I realized that I was incorrect. And my husband and I went vegan together. He was a meat eater, and I was a vegetarian. But interestingly enough, he was allergic to dairy. He's allergic to dairy from birth. Okay. So when we started dating, we started going to vegan restaurants for fun. Yeah. Just so we could share food and so we could have like a nice experience. Yeah. And we, got to know vegans and really start learning about living a vegan life. And we decided to go vegan together about 9 years ago.
Oh, that's awesome. It's always easier when the family's involved. It makes such a huge difference.
Yeah, I don't think, I know a lot of people do it and their partners are not vegan. And I think that food is such a huge part of American culture and how we relate to each other, that it really must be a strain on a relationship. I'm very grateful that I have a partner that shares the same ideals that I do.
Yeah, I don't think I could do it at this point in my life. Yeah. It's I know quite a few. I guess it's one thing if you've met and you both were eating meat, but I don't think I could knowingly go into a relationship with a meat eater. But thank goodness I don't have to worry about that. So, my hubby's vegan, and obviously we love our animals to death. So.
Right, of course.
No intended, sorry. So, jewelry maker.
Yes.
Do you do like vegan jewelry? Like have a?
I do. It's not like the big focus of my business. I do a lot of kind of like snarky phrases. I'm a hand stamper, so I do a lot of different types of I don't know, phrases, words.
Yep.
So I do have, if you were to go to my website, I do have a lot of vegan jewelry. I have a lot of vegan baby clothes. I have a lot of things for vegans, but I also have a lot of things for cat parents.
Okay. Of course.
And I definitely have a feminist vibe to my shop. So it's sort of like an expression of my whole self, right? I think that being vegan is a huge part of my identity, but it's not my entire identity. And I think that my jewelry business definitely encompasses all of the parts of me.
Yep. Yeah. You brought up the word feminism a couple times, and feminism, the dairy industry, I think that people who are not vegan don't connect the two. Let's talk about that a little.
Oh my God. I mean,
I know it's got to be a little bit heavy, right?
As a mother, like I don't even, when I've tried explaining, in my connection or my connection to veganism has grown even stronger since I became a mother. And before I was a mother, I had more time to maybe volunteer for an animal sanctuary, or we did a lot of cat rescue. And I don't have that kind of time now, but my connection to being vegan is so much stronger. Like I can't even imagine having my child taken from me and then be milked. I don't want to be milked anymore.
Yeah.
Like I barely wanted to produce milk for my own child.
Yeah.
Like I can't, and like to be a mother and to not recognize that like we're stealing babies from mammals that we know have similar genetic makeups to ourselves, have similar connection to their young as we do. And then hook them up to machines and milk them for eternity.
Yeah. So they can't be used anymore. Yeah, it's truly sad. I had a conversation with someone who came to visit. It was probably 6 months ago, and didn't realize that cows need to give birth in order to produce milk. And she was completely shocked when I told her that. Yeah. And I was surprised because I just assumed everybody knew that. But
I think that we just don't like. I mean, I like that's what I'm like. That's my point. Like as a mother now, like it's like the whole picture is so clear.
Yeah.
And before it was just cows needed to be milked, right? We all saw like cartoons, and the cows had full udders and needed to be milked. It was funny. It sprayed everywhere. Like it was so benign.
Yeah. It's and we're just lightly touching the subject. It's a lot worse than that.
Right, of course.
Because they have, forcibly impregnated and their male babies are taken away, made into veal, or just discarded on a trash pile. It's pretty sad.
Yeah, and I think an interesting thing on top of that is that so many people celebrate like the birth of animal babies, right? People want to, forget, when I want to go to zoos and aquariums, but people want to watch the birth of elephant calves and giraffe babies, and they're all so cute with their mothers.
Yes. Yep.
And we're fascinated by lion cubs and and playing with their mothers and fathers, and whatever and there's like such a disconnect from the fact that like this like milk, which is cheap, and that's another thing that I always like think about like what things are worth, right? Like why is oat milk so much more expensive than dairy milk?
Yeah. It's that's a good point. Yeah.
So to turn mothers into commodities, like it hurts it hurts my body. It hurts like my very essence. And I didn't feel that before I had my own child.
No, that's fascinating. I'm glad we talked about it. Dairy is scary. It's just, I think in 10 years, the dairy industry will be gone. I really feel strongly about that. I think people are finally waking up. We're seeing that like we're the only species that drinks another species' milk. And it's basically baby calf growth fluid that we're putting in our bodies.
Right, and those same people wouldn't even taste
bones, like. There's such even health wise, it's the worst thing we can put in our body. And it's just amazing.
And how many people do you think would drink human breast milk as adults?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's terrible. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was a fun conversation. Tell everybody where we can buy your book.
Well, you can buy my book basically everywhere. You can buy it on my website, which is madveganbooks.com. But you can also buy it wherever you buy other books, Amazon online, Amazon, Target, Barnes & Noble, Walmart. My book is everywhere, which is super exciting.
Very exciting. Yeah.
It's also in vegan gift shops and animal sanctuary gift shops and in bookstores. We're working in that direction.
Cool. Very good.
So that's where, that's where I really like to see it more. I have it in, some, but I'd love to see it in more.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on the book. I'm so happy you could come on the show today. Check out Randy's book, Vegan Family, Amazon, every place. I think Tiffany's going to put up your website. She already did, madveganbooks.com. And quickly tell everybody why mad.
It's mad because we're not angry. We're actually very happy vegans. But between myself and my illustrator, Abby, we have 3 boys, Murray, Adrian, and Drake.
There you go. Awesome. Thanks for coming on the show today, and I'll see you on social media.
Thank you so much for having me. This was wonderful.
Absolutely. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. So, check out. I really like this book. I keep getting the light shine on it. That's the book. Illustrations are really cute. Let me show you guys a page here that I really liked. So I don't know if you guys can see it. Oh, there we go. I have to peek to see what you guys can see. Yeah, really cute book. Check it out. All right, we're going to move on to, I don't even know who's here, so let's see who's here. We're moving on to the Sanctuaries. Look at all these faces. Hi, everybody.
Look at all these faces.
What are you doing?
Good.
Good.
Hey.
Glad to be here, Chris.
Kathy Stevens.
Hello, sweet Chris. How are you?
How are you, Kathy?
I'm hot. It's so hot.
Oh, you're hot.
Here.
Oh, goodness.
Probably hotter here than it is in Florida.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal here, so I don't know. We have a tropical storm coming, so fun times.
Oh.
Yeah, and Jessica Harris, Global Federation of Animal Sanctuaries. Dan, Barn Sanctuary. How's it going, buddy?
Hey, good.
Danielle from Piedmont, and Michelle at Wildwood. Look at all these beautiful faces. All right, I know that Jessica has a crazy day. So, Jessica, I've talked about you guys constantly for the past year on my show.
Yay!
Tell everybody about GFAS, what they do, and all that great stuff.
Yeah, sure. And I just want to make sure you guys can hear me okay.
Yep.
I am
Perfect.
not technologically savvy, so just make sure that's all set. Thank you so much for having me, Chris, and have to give a shout out to Randy, who was on before. As a fellow vegan mom, I echo so much of what she feels and her experience, and it's always really cool to meet other vegan parents. So really appreciate that, and have actually taken my daughter. Kathy's going to meet her soon. And Danielle, I know I've been at Piedmont with her because I'm from North Carolina originally. So anyway, she's definitely going to be a sanctuary gal. But more about GFAS. So I'm really happy to be here, and with all of these awesome folks who I have so much respect for and feel really, really grateful to work with every day. All of as certified sanctuaries, it takes a lot to do this, and GFAS is sort of here to validate everything that you're doing. So for anybody watching who doesn't know, the Global Federation of Animal Sanctuaries, which I always shorten to GFAS because it's a mouthful, is responsible for certifying or accrediting true sanctuaries. And by that, we mean sanctuaries who are operating ethically, who are never exploiting their animals, who are sustainable. And, the big focus, of course, first and foremost, is animal care and making sure that the animals in their care are getting the best possible treatment. And beyond that, making sure that on the operations perspective, that that everybody is in it for the long run and can safeguard those animals. So that's always what we're here to do. And beyond that, to really set aside and differentiate sanctuaries who are doing really good and ethical work from all of the guys that I'm sure you guys contend with, that are sort of those roadside zoos, pseudo sanctuaries, petting zoos, who call themselves a sanctuary because it can be a trendy word nowadays, and certainly attract certain types of people, but who are not always doing the right thing by animals. And I know that you guys often get the fallout from that. So our job here is to distinguish all of you and then continue to elevate the work that sanctuaries are doing. And so, the goal is that anybody who has an interest in animals, really, whether they're the public looking for a place to visit, whether they're donors, whether they're legislators, any stakeholder at all, if they see that GFAS stamp on your website, it means a lot at a glance. They understand sort of the caliber of sanctuary that they're dealing with. And so it's really our pleasure to set you guys apart that way.
So I know the word sanctuary is just thrown around by a lot of places, and the word nonprofit too, which,
Sure.
yeah. I know you guys, if we go to your website, you have a list of all the GFAS sanctuaries. What does it take for, can any sanctuary become accredited or verified?
You guys know the answer is no. It takes a lot, but there's certainly a couple of things what you're getting at as far as like who qualifies. So yes, you do need to have in the United States, your 501c3 or your nonprofit status. Of course, we operate globally, so we have to look at it's actually an interesting thing to look at how nonprofit is structured in different countries. Sometimes I have to kind of do my research to figure out how to know whether they are or not. But so yes, being a nonprofit or a charity in whatever country you're operating in, a big one that I think all of you appreciate, and which I know for me, if I see that you're a vegan sanctuary, I know that you have this in your head already, but we do not allow anything that would commodify animals. So, of course, when it comes to breeding, you cannot be breeding animals unless we're talking about like a true, wildlife, conservation type program. Even that is very carefully evaluated. But more so that you're never using animals for their parts, for their milk, meat, anything else. And that includes, sort of using them even for entertainment. And so, as all of you guys know, it's very clear to me often, especially in the farm space, sometimes it's easier to distinguish that almost, because I know all of you often are operating from sort of that vegan worldview. So, you do not have to be a certain size. So you could be a micro sanctuary and still qualify to be GFAS certified. But I will say that most of the time, it takes sanctuaries often at least a couple of years operating, getting off the ground to just establish all of those protocols that we ask to have in place. And as you guys all know, it's an intense process. So, I think those are the main qualifiers.
Not too bad. Just a couple hundred pages of paperwork.
Oh yeah. That's what my week is, Chris, because I have accreditation next week.
Yeah, I know you have accreditation
so
this week, so you have an insane week. Yeah.
Reading the hundreds of pages.
So globally, how many sanctuaries do we have now as part of the group?
So we were so excited last year. We had this beautiful number that was like 200 by the end of 2020. Wow. And so we have now surpassed 200. And I can tell you that most of the programs have a lot of applicants, but the farm space is booming. So I have a lot of applicants. So many of you guys, who are going to be hopefully joined by new peers. But
fantastic. I'd love to hear that. Yeah. What percentage now I know it was like 3% of sanctuaries for a while that globally that are accredited.
As far as who's accredited, it's very small. So, it's interesting because it's sort of a side project of mine that I'd like to get better estimates globally of how many farm sanctuaries are currently in operation. And I don't have those numbers, but several different sort of estimates that I've seen for North America are well over 400. So if you guys realize that we're under 30 sanctuaries currently certified in the farm space, you are the elite.
Wow, that's amazing. I didn't know that.
And not to say, I know of many sanctuaries who are doing an excellent job who are not yet certified. And that does not, sort of exclude them from that level of excellence. But of course, send them my way.
Yeah, it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. It was the first thing that I planned on doing when I opened the sanctuary. So we're really so excited to be verified by you guys and maybe certified soon. We'll see.
As many of you know, having kind of come into directing the farm program since the beginning of this year myself, had been doing some work with GFAS prior, but it has just been a personal mission of mine to continue to kind of network with you guys and bring everybody together. Partially because I love knowing what everybody's doing. Like it's so cool to hear from you guys and support you however I can. And I know we'll be talking a lot about goat games, and that's really what that's about. We were so excited when Kathy and Catskill approached us to co-host this year, because it's one more way we can try to help everybody. So
Yeah, I'm excited too. I always like to know what everybody's doing.
I know. I know. Well, people are like, I'm like, I need my animal fix. This is like the first time in my life that I'm more at my computer than like out doing animal care somewhere. And it's kind of hard. So sometimes people send me little videos and pictures. I'm like, send more, please.
Are you doing the site visits now? Who's doing the site visits?
Yes. Yeah? I mean,
awesome.
we do them kind of regionally, and especially during the pandemic, we've been a little more grounded close to home. So that's why Kathy will see me soon, because we're both in the Northeast. But yeah, I'm up here, so haven't been able to venture down to you guys yet, Chris. But
yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you one of these days.
Yeah, just for fun too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for being on the show today. I'm really excited that you are here. And I know you have a crazy day, so if you need to run, feel free to run. I'll leave it up to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to see everybody. Yeah,
and for all you do, we really appreciate you.
Thanks. Thank you. Thanks. Appreciate it. All right. I thought I'd just go alphabetically. So that's you, Dan. Dan from Barn Sanctuary. Let me get your notes.
Okay. Here. I just gotta say hi, Kathy. It's good seeing you.
How's it going, Dan?
Let me unmute. Hi, Dan. Good to see your smiling face.
Oh, thanks. Yes. The goat games, I'm actually a naturally competitive person.
I'm not
So it's perfect for fundraising and getting people to donate and get awareness that there are so many sanctuaries out there. So it's a lot of fun.
Tell everybody a little bit about Barn Sanctuary.
Sure. Yeah, Barn Sanctuary, I started it back in 2016. The farm, it's been a kind of a family farm for the last 140 years, over 140. But it was actually in my family. It was kind of just stagnant for 30 years with nothing being done. And my dad reached out and said, what should we do? And so I recently got done reading Gene Bauer's book, Living a Farm Sanctuary Life. And I'm like, I want to do that. And I recently went vegan. And so I was just very ambitious. And so we home about 130 rescued animals. We have an amazing staff. We're located just outside Ann Arbor, Michigan. And it was really cool because right when we were starting, Kathy actually came and did a visit and was just like, yeah, I think you guys got something here. Yeah. And it was just so cool to have her there at such an early stage.
Yeah.
Because I remember her saying, it's tough. I'm like, now looking back, I'm like, oh yeah, that's an understatement. Oh boy.
Yeah.
I've been through
I don't think there's any preparation you can do for
no, nothing.
Is, right?
But I love it. And it's so much, and it's really great being able to tell stories with the animals, be able to learn about the animals, and then work with such amazing people as well that are starting sanctuaries and have had sanctuaries, and still do. It's unbelievable how many farm animal sanctuaries there are in the United States. Literally, because people can just Google it and there'll be one in their backyard, basically.
Seriously.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we're really excited about the goat games. I know my dad already kind of created a 5K route on the farm, and he walked it yesterday. Like, Dad, it doesn't even start now. He's like, I know, but I want to be precise, man.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah, it's my dad, and he works at the sanctuary too. So he's like, he does all of our
family business,
compounding and stuff like that. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I know you have a show on Animal Planet.
Oh, yeah, not anymore.
Not anymore.
Yes, they decided to go into a different direction, and that's okay. I think they greenlit a show about pimple popping for animals or something like that, and I'm like, okay, I don't know if I want to be on that network right now. But we were super thankful to be able to have that opportunity to have 12 episodes on Animal Planet. Super grateful. So it was a great experience.
I was so excited to finally see a farm sanctuary get a show, because I don't think it's been done before.
Yeah, I don't know. Not on that big of a level before. I was honestly surprised that we got it, or they were willing to do it. You know, a vegan farm animal sanctuary. It was definitely a walking kind of like a fine line of not being really preachy about the mission, because it would just turn Animal Planet in the opposite direction running. But the fact that people
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting. It changed throughout the filming process. They're like, they included, what would happen if you don't take in this animal? It would go to the market for slaughter, or all this stuff, and they included it. And I thought there's a lot of stuff they didn't include, but that's okay. It's we got to meet where it was. The point was to capture a large audience, and people could see that the animals all had individual names and individual personalities, and I don't think people really have seen that on a global scale. It's still airing in Brazil. Brazil has the most amount of reruns, and so we always get messages.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Brazil is a big meat eating country, right?
Yeah, and I always get messages in different was it Portuguese, and I just have no idea what they're saying. So I'm like, thanks, thumbs up. But super appreciative, and it was exciting. I'm glad we're not doing another season, because it was really stressful for the staff and the animals, and
cameras on you all day long, all night.
6 months, 12-hour days.
Wow,
brutal.
Yeah.
So, but it was great, and we're lucky to have had that opportunity.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know you're writing a children's book. Is it about to come out? Is it almost coming out?
Yeah. So, one of our board members, our interim executive director right now, I was like, hey man, I'm really bad at writing my own bios. Can you help me out? And I didn't read it all the way through. I'm like, oh, he mentioned the kids book. But it's okay. It should be coming out early March. It's gonna be, I don't even know if I'm allowed to talk about it. It's called This Farm is a Family. And it's mainly for I believe 4 to 10-year-olds. And it's pretty cool, because the animals are kind of like, Toy Story in the movie. They have their own lives going on. It's really cool, and it talks about anxiety and stress for one of our newer residents, Buttercup, and how the entire crew, like Little Dude and Ginger, all cared about her, and it was really cool. It's really cool. I'm excited.
Yeah, tell us about your mascot for the goat games.
Oh, Lola, Princess
Lola.
She's so adorable. She's great.
Is.
Yeah, she's such a princess, and I hope she feels the same way that I'm calling her a princess. But no, she's great. We got her in Iowa. She was born outside during the winter. The farmer didn't know that they had triplets. They just thought they had twins. So she got frostbite and had to have her back hind legs amputated, and it was pretty crazy, because I got her back to the farm, and I have old footage of her running with her legs, and you could tell that there wasn't really nothing there. And but yeah, she has prosthetics. She does underwater therapy, pretty local here, and gets light therapy done. And
oh, cool.
Yeah. So she just got some new prosthetics made, which I'm very happy about.
Oh, who did them?
His name is Josh Arc Ortho, and he's actually local, same town.
Oh wow! What are the chances?
I was at a wine bar with my dad, and his wife comes up to me. He's like, "My husband wants to make animal prosthetics."
Wow!
And he makes them for kids. He made them for kids, and so
wow.
He's so hands-on. He drives out and he does it. He loves doing all the fittings himself, and he just got use of this massive 3D printer, and so he just made some new ones for Lola, and they're perfect. So
cool. Wow.
Yeah, Arc Ortho.
Art Ortho. Oh,
yeah,
awesome.
check him out. He's really cool.
I know Tiffany's been posting everybody's websites and
Oh, cool.
Great information. So we'll have everybody's website up in the donation links.
Thank you.
Did I miss anything?
I don't think so.
All right, awesome.
This is a lot of fun. I am competitive. So
yeah.
I'm like, but it's just
I've been looking at everybody's totals every day. Catskill is killing it.
I know. Coming after you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But it's really
we
cool.
do have an unfair advantage. But you're not gonna catch. But you're not gonna catch us. You're not gonna catch us, Dan.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. I'm excited for the opening ceremonies. I heard you guys are doing something special, and that'll be fun to watch as well.
Yeah, fantastic. Well,
Well, thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And speaking of Catskill,
hi,
Miss Kathy Stevens. How are you, Kathy Stevens?
Hot, as I said. Sorry, that's my old pit bull. Having some things to say. I'm just fine. Just fine. Excited about all of this. So grateful that everybody agreed to participate, and hope it's a whopping success in the week when it really counts, this upcoming week, and hope to expand it next year.
Yeah, tomorrow's the big day.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Tell everybody about Catskill Sanctuary.
So we are in our 20th year, which is hard to believe.
Wow.
But we're a 150-acre sanctuary in New York's Hudson Valley when we rescue 12 species of farmed animals, really 11. We don't officially take in rabbits anymore unless somebody dumps them in our driveway, which is what happened with our last pair. And, you know, we do what all sanctuaries do. You take these broken beings and you love them, and you treat them all as individuals, and then they delight you in who they become and what lessons they offer, and how they become such heart-opening and mind-expanding ambassadors for all the rest of them. And then we have an active education program with tours and cooking class and a cookbook. And a podcast. So that's us in a nutshell.
Awesome.
Those are the
So, how did the goat games begin? When did it all happen?
You know, COVID happened. And so as all of you know, you've got to have, as a sanctuary, lots of ways of bringing in money. And so one important way for us to bring in money was through special events, and all of a sudden we couldn't have them anymore. We couldn't have our big event in Manhattan. We couldn't have our on-site events. So the group of us got together, and I don't remember, to be honest, probably one of our team who's listening now knows who came up with the original idea, but as soon as that person did, we all loved it. We just loved it as a way of engaging our supporters and doing what we're doing anyway, which is being outside and active in the summer. And so we gave it a whirl. But then to make it really a games, and it's funny because Dan, you say you're competitive. I don't know if he's on anymore, but to me, we are competing. We're only competing against ourselves. This is a very collegial thing, and we're just each of us is trying to raise whatever goal we set. So I'm just excited to cheer everybody on and hope that it's a walloping success. That in a little over a week from now, we'll look back and say that every single one of us accomplished what we intended to, and that we can look forward to expanding it again next year.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. So I got to meet you last year.
Yes. So people don't know this, but
we don't have to talk about it. Is it still top secret?
Well, it's not going to be anymore.
Yeah.
We reached out to Jess. I think GFAS.
Yes.
I think you guys.
No, I think it was
Valerie.
No.
Somebody. It was somebody.
Yes.
With a D. With a D. Her name.
Yes.
With a D.
Daryl.
Daryl. Okay.
Sorry, Daryl.
So, Daryl, we had more pigs than our grounds could accommodate well. We took in 12 pigs. We had 8 or 9 pigs. We took in 12 piglets as part of a rescue in collaboration with PETA. And another sanctuary was going to take half of them. And once they actually got here, the sanctuary could no longer take them. So these pigs, we just had personality conflicts, essentially. And so we started looking around the country. And as you guys all know, but listeners might not, one pig is a force of nature. A pig is a force of nature. They are strong. They are willful. They are food driven. They let you know what's on their mind. They could drag you around as if you were a blade of grass. And so we knew it was going to be a challenge to try to place half of these piglets. We call them the piglets. We still call them the piglets.
We still call them the piglets. Oh, goodness.
They're 6 years old. But so we were reaching out all over the country. We exhausted our options regionally and reached out to lots of organizations, including GFAS. And Daryl said there is this wonderful sanctuary in Florida called Little Bear. And I called Chris, and he said, I think we could do it. And we had a series of conversations, and I thought, is this man out of his mind? And so I flew down. I was actually down there for a conference, but made a point to go and visit to make sure, A, he wasn't out of his mind, and B, that their setup would work for these 6 adult pigs. And what struck me most, as I said to Chris, is how in love with him the animals are. And that was all the most important thing that I needed to see, that they adore him. And, the pasture, I don't even know if you'd call them pastures because it's sand, but like these big enclosures.
We have grass now. It's rainy season.
Oh, okay. The enclosures are big. The only thing we were concerned about was the climate, the difference in the 2 climates. So we transported them down at a time of year that would be easiest for them, and they're doing great.
Yeah, they are.
So that's how Chris.
And the piglets, by piglets, she means 6 big 600-pound Yorkshires.
Yeah. 600-pound pigs.
Yeah. They're quite the crew. We love them. They love their belly rubs, man. I go in there and it's like flop, 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 flop.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
It's pretty universal, right?
Totally. Did I miss anything? Anything else you want to say?
No, just grateful to everybody for their support of whatever sanctuary it is that you're on Chris's show, so you're probably going to support Little Bear. Don't support Dan. Definitely do not support Barn Sanctuary. He is competitive, and nobody should give him a penny. No, just grateful to everybody. Grateful to you, Chris. I just love you, and I love everybody who gets into this work. And then once in it, realizes, Mother of God, this is harder than I ever possibly could have imagined. And yet reaches inward and finds what it takes to keep going. So
well said.
Bunch of good people.
Thank you. All right. On to Piedmont.
Hey there.
How are you?
Doing well. Thanks so much for this opportunity.
Yeah, I'm glad you made it. How's everything?
Going good. Yeah. It's also very hot here. So
is it? Everybody's like heat wave time. So tell everybody about Piedmont.
Yeah. So we're located in Pittsboro, North Carolina. We are home to a little over 120 residents. We've got goats, sheep, chickens, turkeys, ducks, geese. I think that's everything. And within the next year or so, we hope to start rescuing cows. So we're working on our cow structure right now. So we're really excited about that. And then the other big news is that we also just expanded pretty hugely in our land. So we went from 20 to 45 acres earlier this year.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really exciting. So we've got the land and we're now kind of fundraising for all of the things that go into getting it ready, building structures, having the
always fun, right? That's always fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. I think, Tiffany's putting up all your links there.
Yeah, thank you.
Who's Ace? Tell us about Ace.
Ace is such a big personality. My personal funny story with Ace. Oh yeah, he's very tall. One of the first times that I realized that the animals were recognizing me specifically was with Ace. I brought my husband out kind of when I had been volunteering for a few months, and Ace ran over to me first. Like, we were at very opposite ends of the fence, and he immediately came to me, and I was like, oh, you like remember me from last time. So that was great. Ace has been at the refuge for several years now. He was rescued. His mom, Sweet Mama, who unfortunately passed a few years ago, she was at a slaughter auction. She had been a dairy goat for 7 years. And at that point, they don't really produce as much anymore. So that's typically when they're sold off. She was pregnant. And when they sold her to the slaughter auction, and she escaped the slaughter auction, jumped a bunch of fences, and ended up in on this large cattle farm kind of near the refuge. Yeah. And someone contacted us and kind of watched over her for a few days. She gave birth shortly before coming to the refuge to Ace and Ivy. So he has a twin sister as well. And they got to live a really good few years together as a family unit, which was really kind of the best thing because, knowing that she had been a dairy goat for 7 years, how many babies she had taken away already, and the fact that she got not long enough, but still at least a few really good years with her son and daughter. So yeah, that's Ace. Yeah.
The hard part about running a sanctuary, losing them. Yeah,
absolutely.
Are you the founder?
I'm not. So I'm the administrative director. Many of you probably know Lenore, who is our founder. She wasn't available today, but she is incredible. The vision that she has for the refuge is amazing. And when she knew she wanted to start a sanctuary, she worked, volunteered, interned at a bunch of other places so she could really learn as much as she could before starting it. So I think she's done such a good job of always wanting to do things sustainably. So, we always try to have the funding and the structure and the support in place before we take on more animals than we can handle. So that's a really amazing thing. And then her husband, Paul, he's an architect and he designs all of our buildings. And I'd say that's one of my favorite things.
That's a handy person to have around.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of my favorite things about the refuge is his vision of animal-centered design. So he will spend all of this time watching animals, observing them, and seeing kind of what their habits are, what they like to do during the day, so that all of their houses aren't just barns. They're places that enrich their daily lives and really meet not just their needs, but the things that they want to do with their time as well.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Tell him I'm going to call him this week.
Yeah, I will. It's really been cool.
Maybe he'll do a couple sketches for us.
It's been cool in the past couple of years. He talks to other sanctuaries frequently and helps out with questions about design. And I think it's been a really amazing thing to be able to have those connections with other sanctuaries around the country, where he travels to places to visit their cows while preparing for our new cow structure, and then is able to also share kind of his input on design stuff too. So yeah, it's been
Danielle.
Really
cool. Can I just share one thing?
Oh, please do. Yeah, because they visited you recently, right? Yeah.
They visited us very recently, and they literally spent an entire day just sitting in the pasture, observing the cows' behavior, how they moved around, what they did at early morning versus late evening, and sketching. Paul was sketching, and I won't spill the beans because it might change, but the sketch, the idea that he came up with while they were here was amazing.
Yeah. Wow. So and actually, go ahead.
No, it was amazing. Amazing.
We just recently shared on our Patreon, for Patreon subscribers, we shared the first mock-up of the cow house. So it is available to Patreon subscribers, and we will publicly be sharing it pretty soon too. Awesome. But yes, it looks really good. So
Is it the concept that he came up with?
Probably. So Lenore actually just recently made some scans of some of his sketchbooks, so we can have that kind of archive as well. So I'm not sure exactly.
Okay.
We're trying to get information here. We're trying to get information.
I am.
She's not giving it up.
Not yet. But there are some really, really cool features that like you were saying, it's the difference between what they want to do at day and at night, and how they interact with each other, and how they interact with nature, and how they interact with their house kind of structure. So it's really exciting.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing that. That's pretty amazing. Wow. Very cool. Very cool. All right. We have one more sanctuary with us. Last but not least, hi, Michelle. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Welcome.
How about you?
I'm doing great. It's great to see everybody come out today. I love this.
Happy to be here. I'm feeling so much pressure since I'm the last one to talk.
Oh, God. Isn't that the worst?
I have to say something fascinating, so it's worth the wait. And I'm just, I'm feeling pressured.
We'll be very enthusiastic.
Okay, great.
It's all good. So tell everybody about Wildwood.
Wildwood Farm Sanctuary is in Newberg, Oregon. That is right smack in the middle of the Willamette Valley wine region. Our founder, Shauna Sherrick, is a local veterinary technician. She's worked in a local mixed animal hospital for over 20 years. And this property is a beautiful 98-acre little corner of the world that has been in her family for 3 generations. Her grandparents farmed there, and then her parents had the property, and now she is raising her twin sons there, and has turned the sanctuary into a permanent nature preserve and a farm animal sanctuary. So the preserve part is, the property has beautiful native Oregon white oak savannas, beautiful lush evergreen forests with some creeks and streams that are home to numerous little, frogs and various wetland creatures. There are some wetlands. There are a few acres of pear orchards, a few acres where we grow all of the hay that the animals eat through the year. And then, of course, we have about 100 formerly farmed animals. We've got 7 beautiful bovines, some goats, sheep, alpacas, and then, chickens, turkeys, ducks, geese, and peacocks. And so they get to live, very peacefully and have their wonderful, happy sanctuary life where they get to choose their friends and choose what they do with their days and live out their natural lives and have the kind of lifestyle that they all deserve, but they live peacefully along with the wildlife that visits there. And sometimes we've had arrangements with local wildlife rescues, and so that when there are say like some orphan baby skunks that when they were rehabilitated and ready to be returned to the wild, they came to live in the Wildwood forest. And so it really is a pretty magical place, and the kind of place that's disappearing because, a few decades ago, when, Shauna and I did not know each other when we were growing up. We only met when Wildwood was an entity, but we both grew up in this valley in the 80s. And back then it was a farming community, and this 100-acre spread that was, owned by one family and managed, was not such a rare thing. And these days now, those have all been broken up. And if they become wineries, they become this monoculture. I mean, it's beautiful to look at. It's picturesque because they plant these beautiful, neat little rows that make these, lovely patterns on the hillsides, but, not at all natural for an entire little ecosystem to be, dedicated to one kind of plant life. And then, of course, they put up big old deer fencing and, stop all the wildlife, corridors, and so it really interferes with wildlife, and Wildwood now is a rare gem, and we've been working with the local water conservation board, got a grant to do the land and water conservation and really restore the natural condition of the sanctuary there, really nurturing the native plants and animals. And so it's a lovely place where we feel like we get to model for the rest of the world what life really could be like if we lived in harmony with all of the animals.
Yeah, it sounds that way. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I got to come visit. I need to.
Yeah, you would love it.
So tell me about, I don't have the name of your goat, but I have his picture.
Billy Blue Eyes.
Billy Blue Eyes.
Billy Blue Eyes is one of my best friends in the whole world. He's just a big love. You know how goats are really like big dogs.
They are. Yes.
And yeah, he is. And of course, just has these stunningly beautiful blue eyes. He's an elderly guy. He's one of the first residents to come to the sanctuary. So he's worked his way up to, senior executive status. He's worked his way up the management ranks. He makes most of the decisions. And he, a few months ago, actually was playing like a young goat, even though he's an old guy. And he fell really hard off of his big old climbing structure and he broke his leg. Oh. And it was a bad enough break that the surgeon recommended amputation as the most humane treatment. And so he is back, and even as an old guy is learning all of his tripod tricks and, just an amazing, resilient buddy, like we know that all these creatures to be. But, we rented a cargo van from U-Haul to take him to his appointment because we had a choice between the big stock trailer, just too big and too bumpy, or, like a Subaru station wagon. So we rented a cargo van and got him there, and it worked really well. But, the other thing that's a reality right now, especially with all of the nature that surrounds our sanctuary, is wildfire season. It was, like everybody else, it's just ridiculously hot. It was 105 degrees yesterday on the sanctuary, which used to be unheard of in the Willamette Valley. We're a little, rainy, wet northwest valley that now has months of fire season every year. Last year, there was a fire that raged for weeks on the ridge right above the sanctuary. Definitely a tense time. We wondered if we would have to evacuate all 100 animals on short notice. And, thank goodness we never did have to. And in fact, we were able to take some animals that did have to evacuate from other nearby sanctuaries. But we are now watching the sky turn orange. Just on Facebook yesterday, Shauna posted a picture of the orange sky at sunset with the peacocks sitting on the fence and watching it. And there are fires raging around us. So this cargo van is the focus of our Goat Games fundraiser. If we can buy a cargo van, have it on there, it's a really good medical transport, and it will help us more quickly evacuate if we need to.
Yeah. And people say there's not climate change.
Yeah. Look at the sky. Look at the thermometer.
The world is burning. The world is burning. It is on fire everywhere on the globe. It's so heartbreaking to see, people evacuating a Greek island, and the animals don't all get out. I mean, all of us that we grieve and we worry for the animals that are paying a much bigger price for this than humans, and humans are paying quite a price as well. Yeah, very sad. All right. Well,
I was going to try to say something fascinating, and then I just depressed everybody.
Oh. Hey, it's the reality of what we do, I think. But there was three-legged animals. It's amazing how they bounce back, and you said it perfectly. They're just like dogs. Dogs with horns, I call them. Yeah. We love our goats. They're just so much fun. All of our goats run loose, so they at night they sit at the front door of the house, the whole group. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah, well, because we're also a nature preserve, all of our goats need to be closed up at night. They run loose during the day, but at night, we've got cougars and bobcats and all kinds of wildlife around us. So everybody's tucked in at night. Yeah,
that's perfect. Awesome, great. All right, guys, thanks for coming out today. I'm so excited to have everybody here. Good luck, everyone, on your fundraisers, and I'll be watching. I'm looking forward
Thanks
to seeing
so
pictures
much.
from the events. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Ready, set, goat.
Ready,
right?
set, goat.
Here we go.
All right, guys, I'm going to close the show. Tomorrow, I know we're over time. We're good, Tiffany, right? I'm going to keep talking. So tomorrow for Little Bear Sanctuary, Sunday, we're going to be at Millennial Brewing in Fort Myers for a vegan brunch. I hope you guys will come out and join us. I know we're having a tropical storm this weekend, but we'll all drink together inside where it's dry. So yeah, come out and see us this Sunday. And it's Millennial Apothecary Flying Eagle. They're all in the same location in Fort Myers. And August 21st, we're going to do the closing events. Not all heroes wear capes. Our development committee is doing some really fun stuff in Ohio at Whetstone Park of the Roses, and they have a whole list of events. And yeah, so my guest next week is my good friend Debbie with Your Vegan Home. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to cook together. And what a fun show today. Thank you for everybody who was here. Sorry I didn't get to go down the list. Hi, Wilma. Hi, Nana. Hi, Michelle. Kim. All right, guys, I'm going to sign out. It's me, Chris Vane, signing out. Remember, peace begins on your plate. Love you guys. Bye.
Don't want the fun to end? Grab more refreshments. Then head over to the Goldylocks Productions YouTube channel. With the huge selection of shows, the fun doesn't have to end.